Good morning. Happy Tuesday. I hope everybody's doing good. I just wanted to come on. I don't know why. I think you guys have heard my story about when I was younger, I went through domestic violence. For some reason, this morning, that's all I had in my mind. And all I had in my mind were the signs that were there early on in my relationship. And I don't know, I was compelled to speak about it. I don't know. Unfortunately, some of you are going through something that maybe you need to hear this. But I was just compelled to speak about it. It just kept ringing in my head to speak about the early signs and how it started. So I remember like today, the first time that there was a sign. The first sign that was there that I should have picked up. I'm usually a very aware, present person. I'm not the type to like not look at signs when they're right in front of me. But I remember the first day I had gone to my boyfriend's house at that time. He's the father of my son, of my oldest son. I had gone to his house, and I don't know, I don't remember exactly what happened, what was going on. I remember we kind of got into a small disagreement. It wasn't even anything serious. I just don't remember exactly what it was. It was a very small disagreement, and I remember him being upset, and all of a sudden he grabbed me, he pushed me against the wall. He grabbed my hand, held down to my wrist purposely and intentionally to cause fear. Not necessarily harm, but fear. And I could see it and I could feel it in him. It wasn't about him causing me harm, but he was just in an uncontrollable moment. And you know, you could see like it was something different in his eye. And he held me against the wall for about 5 to 7 minutes. And I remember in my mind thinking, oh my God, is this the day that I'm gonna die? I was 18 years old. I was 18 years old, and I only had maybe a few months dating him. At that time, the love of my life, I was able to see something different in him that I don't think he saw in himself. He had his own stories, his own struggles that I didn't yet understand. But that's besides the point. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying what it is. He's a very smart, brilliant guy. I think if he would have given himself half a chance, he would have been a millionaire. He was extremely intelligent, a very good businessman. And anyway, so I remember him holding me there, and I don't remember my exact words or what I was telling him to get off me. And he was just it was just about putting fear in me, and not necessarily having control, but just putting fear and releasing that energy and that anger that he had towards me, so that he didn't have it anymore. And that went on for almost 10 minutes, and I just remember in my mind saying, I wasn't necessarily afraid, because I've always been a tough girl, a fearless person, and I've always felt that God has always looked over me. Not necessarily thinking nothing was going to happen to me at that moment. I wasn't necessarily afraid. And I remember nothing was coming through him. The look in his eye was just like the devil had taken over him. And his mom came in the door. I hear the keys jiggling outside. I had seen his mom about maybe 10 minutes before, right before I got there. And I think in me going to see her, that was, God put her in my way so that I survived that day. Because in hindsight, I think that was the day that something was going to happen. So anyway, so his mom came in and she caught a quick glimpse of what he was doing, and she was asking, you know, what happened. And I remember like letting go of my breath. I think a tear came out. I was confused. I was angry. I was just trying to unravel the thoughts in my head. And she just kept asking, what's wrong? And it took him a second to let go, even when his mom came in. And I saw that moment. It was extremely rude, but I just walked out. She kept asking me, what happened? But it was in the way that she was asking me, she had already seen her son behaving that way. It wasn't like an absolute, confrontation, or, you know, like the first time that she had ever seen her son doing that. It was like, what's going on? So I left that day. I walked as fast as I can. I only lived about 2 blocks away from him. And I didn't speak to him for about a month. Unfortunately, I did get back with him. Not unfortunately in a way, but fortunately because God put him in my life to give me my oldest son. You know, that's a whole other story, but my son saved my life in many, many ways. My son saved my life. So anyway, so I just felt compelled today to come on and talk about my story and how it started, and how a lot of us, you know, when we're going through situations, the signs are there. We just don't know how to believe in and trust in our instincts. Like I said, I've always been a very strong person. I've always been a very realistic person. It was never a situation that I would have seen myself in, but I did live that for almost 3 years. And had he not gotten locked up, I had gotten to the end of my story where it was going to be either I survive or he survives, because it just went from worse to worse. I stayed in the relationship hoping that it I stayed in the relationship hoping that he would change, seeing the better in him, because at the end of the day he was a genuine good person. He just had demons in himself that he, I don't know, whatever, that's his story. But anyway, so I just wanted to come on and talk about this. And just if you're going through something like this, there's hope, there's help. I made it through. It took me a couple of years, and it took God to get him locked up to save my life and save his, because I do believe that it was going to get to a point where it was going to be either my life or his. So if you're going through something like this, or if you're at the beginning of a situation where your instinct is telling you, there's something wrong here, trust your instinct. It's not always easy to let go of somebody that you love, but I think we're more in love with the idea of who that person could be, or who you see underneath, rather than seeing the reality of what it is. So if you're in a situation like this, heed to the signs. Try to get yourself out slowly, fast if you can, as much as you can, and believe in yourself. Believe that you could do it on your own. Find the worth in yourself to get out. Okay, I hope that you're all okay. I hope that if somebody's listening, if you have questions, if you want to talk to me, if you want to find out what it took, or anything, I'm here. But for whatever reason, God just wanted me to talk to you guys about this. So have a blessed day. I love you all, and thank you so much for being in my corner.